Get your kids out now. Ashley needs the room for her 21st birthday party. Barbara's voice ripped through the hallway like a siren. My mother-in-law stood in the doorway, her face red and trembling with fury. For a moment, I just stared at her, frozen, clutching my phone like it was the only thing holding me together. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. My children, Emma, 8 years old, and Lucas, 6, sat huddled together on the small twin bed, their little hands gripping each other tightly. Their eyes were wide, scared, confused. "Barbara," I managed, my throat tight. "It's -2 degrees outside. Where exactly do you expect them to go?" "Not my problem, Sarah," she snapped, her lips curling in disgust. "Ashley's friends will be here soon for her birthday weekend, and they need this space. Your brats can sleep in the garage or wherever. Just get them out." Her words hit me like a slap. I'm Sarah Matthews, 34, and this nightmare was unfolding in what was supposed to be our temporary safe haven. 3 weeks ago, our apartment's heating system had completely failed during one of the coldest winter storms in decades. Barbara, my husband James's mother, had reluctantly offered us a place to stay until repairs were finished. With James away on military deployment, I'd been trying my best to hold everything together on my small teacher's salary. I thought maybe, just maybe, we'd be safe here for a little while. "These are your grandchildren," I said softly, watching Emma stroke her brother's hair, trying to calm him. "James trusted you to help us while he's deployed." Barbara laughed, sharp and cold. "James isn't here, is he? Ashley is, and she's my real daughter. She deserves to have her perfect 21st birthday. I've already promised her friends they can use this room." I looked around at the small guest room that had become our little home. Emma's stuffed elephant sat neatly on her pillow. Lucas's toy cars were lined up on the nightstand beside the family photo they refused to sleep without, the one of us smiling with James before he left. The thought of them sleeping in a freezing garage made my stomach twist. "Mom?" Emma's small voice trembled. "Where are we going to sleep?" Before I could answer, Barbara stormed forward, her perfume mixing with the chill air as she snatched at their backpacks. Get out now. Ashley's friends will be here in 2 hours and I need to clean this room." Lucas started crying. That sound, the sound of his fear, made something in me snap. I stepped between her and the kids, my voice low and trembling. "Touch their things again and I'll call the police." "Go ahead," Barbara sneered. "This is my house. I can throw out whoever I want. Who do you think people will believe? Me? A respected member of this community? Or you? A struggling teacher who can't even keep a roof over her kids' heads?" My fingers shook as I reached for my phone again. This time I wasn't calling the police. I scrolled to James's sister, Helen, and hit call. "Sarah?" Helen's voice came through, warm but worried. "Everything okay?" "No," I whispered, tears burning my eyes. "Your mother is kicking us out. She says Ashley needs the room for her birthday party. It's freezing, Helen." There was a pause. Then Helen's voice changed, strong, steel sharp. "Pack your things. I'm coming. All of you." Barbara must have noticed the shift in my face because she paused mid-rant, glaring at me suspiciously. "What are you doing?" "Solving your problem," I said too calmly. "We're leaving. But make sure you take lots of pictures of Ashley's perfect party. James would love to see them when he gets back." For the first time, something flickered in Barbara's expression, a sliver of doubt. Maybe she finally remembered her son, the soldier who adored his kids and trusted her to care for them. I helped Emma and Lucas pack their few belongings. My hands trembled with a mix of anger and heartbreak. The kids were quiet, moving carefully, almost fearfully, as if any sound might make things worse. "Mommy," Lucas whispered, as I zipped up his backpack. "Is Daddy going to be mad at us?" "No, sweetheart," I said softly, pulling him close. "None of this is your fault. Daddy loves you both very much." Barbara hovered by the doorway, arms crossed, tapping her foot like we were an inconvenience. "Well, are you done yet?" "Ashley will be here soon and this room's still a mess." I ignored her. I made sure Emma and Lucas were bundled tightly in their coats and scarves, their cheeks already pink from the cold seeping in through the old windows. They'd already lost one home this winter, and now they were losing the second place they thought was safe. Then, outside, I heard the crunch of tires on snow. Barbara's face brightened. "Oh, thank God. Ashley's here now. You really need to..." But it wasn't Ashley. It was Helen. Her SUV pulled into the driveway, headlights flashing across the yard like judgment. She stepped out and slammed the door, her jaw tight, her stride fierce. From the window, I saw another car pull up behind hers, Ashley's. Perfect timing. Now everyone would see exactly what kind of woman Barbara truly was. Barbara's shrill voice carried from downstairs. "Helen, what a surprise! What brings you here on this cold day?" Helen's reply was too quiet to make out, but Barbara's sudden silence spoke louder than anything. Helen's voice came next, sharp, controlled, like winter wind slicing through glass. "Where are they, Mom? Where are my brother's children?" I took Emma and Lucas by the hand and led them down the stairs. Ashley stood in the foyer surrounded by decorations and shiny gift bags, her perfect face twisting in confusion. "Mom, what's going on? Why is Aunt Helen here?" Barbara fumbled for words, her earlier confidence slipping. "Helen, darling, you don't understand. Ashley's friends are coming and we needed the space." "Space?" Helen's laugh was bitter. "You have 5 bedrooms, Mom. 5. And you're throwing your grandchildren out into below-zero weather for a party?" Ashley's eyes widened. "Mom, you told me Sarah and the kids left because they found somewhere else to stay. You said they wanted to go." Helen wrapped her arms around Emma and Lucas as soon as we reached the bottom step. The kids clung to her, their little bodies shivering, not from the cold this time, but from fear and confusion. "I've already video called James," Helen announced. Barbara's face turned pale as she added, "He's trying to get emergency leave. Imagine his reaction when I told him his kids were being thrown out for a birthday party." Barbara's shriek echoed through the house. "You had no right. This is between me and Sarah." "No," I said quietly, finally finding my voice again. "This is about 2 children who trusted their grandmother to protect them. They looked at you like you hung the moon, Barbara. Until today." Ashley's jaw trembled. "Mom, this is awful. They're just kids, and it's freezing outside." She turned to me, guilt filling her eyes. "Sarah, I swear I didn't know. She told me you had somewhere else to go." "Of course you didn't know," Helen cut in. "Because if anyone found out what Mom was really like, her perfect reputation would crumble." Barbara's mask of calm cracked. "Get out! All of you! This is my house, and I won't be judged in it." "Gladly," Helen said, pulling out her phone. "But first..." She tapped the screen. James's voice filled the room, deep and trembling with anger. "Mom, how could you?" "My children, your grandchildren. I trusted you to take care of them while I serve this country. And this is how you repay that trust?" "James, sweetheart," Barbara stammered. "You don't understand." "I understand perfectly," he cut in. "Helen, get them out of there. Sarah, take the kids to Helen's. I'm coming home." Barbara collapsed onto the stairs, her hands shaking. "You can't come home. You're on deployment." "Watch me," James's voice snapped. "And when I get back, we're going to have a long talk about family loyalty." When the call ended, silence filled the house. Ashley was crying softly, her birthday forgotten. "Mommy," Emma whispered, tugging at my sleeve. "Is Daddy really coming home?" "Yes, baby," I said, smiling through tears. "Daddy's coming home." Helen helped us load our bags into her SUV, while Barbara stood in the doorway, still muttering weakly about parties and reputation. As we pulled away, Ashley suddenly ran after the car. Helen stopped. "Sarah, wait," Ashley called through the window, her breath fogging in the cold. "I'm so sorry. I never wanted this. Can I come visit the kids at Aunt Helen's? They shouldn't lose their entire family because my mom is a monster." "Helen," I said softly, half smiling despite everything. Then I looked at Ashley and replied, "The kids would like that. They love their Aunt Ashley." As we drove away, Lucas asked from the back seat, "Mommy, why doesn't Grandma love us?" My heart shattered. Helen caught my eye in the rearview mirror, and I saw, tears striking down her cheeks, she loves her image more than her family. "Sweetheart," Helen answered when I couldn't, "but you have so many people who love you. More than anything, your mom, your dad, me, and even Aunt Ashley. We're your real family." Emma hugged her brother. "Close, and we have Sergeant Trunks," she added, clutching her. Stuffed elephant, the drive to Helen's. House was quiet, broken only by the children's occasional whispers, and the steady hum of the heating system working. Over time, my phone kept buzzing with messages from Barbara ranging from angry demands to tearful apologies. Ignored them all. Helen's house wasn't as large as Barbara's, but it was warm, in every way that mattered as she helped us settle into her guest room. One she promised we could stay in as long as we needed. She showed me. Another message from James, emergency leave approved. I'll be home in 72 hours. Mom just lost more than she knows. I love you all. Keep our babies safe. Looking at my children, already starting to relax in the safety of Helen's home. I knew Barbara had indeed lost more than she realized. She'd lost her son's respect, her grandchildren's trust, and any claim to being the perfect mother she pretended to be. Her perfect reputation wouldn't survive this winter storm. 3 days later, James arrived at Helen's house looking exhausted, but determined the moment he walked through the door. Emma and Lucas launched themselves into his arms, their tears of joy mixing with his own. Daddy, you really came home. Of course I did. Princess, he murmured into Emma's hair. Nobody messes with my family. I hung back, letting the children have their moment. But James reached for me with his free arm, pulling me into the family embrace. For the first time since this nightmare began, I felt truly safe after the children were asleep that night, tucked into bed, with extra blankets, and their father's promise to be there when they woke. James, Helen, and I sat in a kitchen. Ashley had arrived earlier, bringing hot chocolate and tearful apologies. She'd been staying with friends, unable to face her mother after what happened. Mom's losing it, Ashley reported, cradling her mug. She's called everyone in her social circle, trying to spin the story her way. But Helen's video reached them first. James nodded grimly. Good. Let her feel what it's like to be left out in the cold. The heating in our apartment is fixed, I told him quietly. We can go home tomorrow. No. His voice was firm. We're not going back to that apartment. I've already called a realtor. We're buying a house somewhere far from my mother's influence, but James, we can't afford it as we can. He pulled out some papers. Remember that inheritance from Dad's side of the family? The one Mom always said was too small to bother with. Well, I had it checked. She lied about that too. There's enough for a down payment, and then some. Helen wasn't surprised. She's been lying about money for years, keeping everyone dependent on her so she could control us all. A knock at the door interrupted us. Through the window, we could see Barbara standing on the porch wearing her finest coat and a look of practice. Contrition, don't answer it, Ashley pleaded. She'll just make everything worse. But James was already moving. He opened the door but didn't invite her in. What do you want, Mom? James, darling. Barbara's voice dripped with, Honey, I've come to take you all home. This silly misunderstanding has gone on long enough. What will people think? Misunderstanding. James's voice was deadly quiet. You threw my children out into freezing weather for a party. It never would have really made them sleep in the garage, Barbara protested. I just needed them out of the room for Ashley's friends. Stop lying, Mom. Ashley called from behind us. You've done enough damage. Barbara's face hardened when she saw her daughter Ashley. How dare you take their side after everything I've done for you, Yui, after everything you've stolen from them to give to me. Ashley shot back. Helen told me about James's inheritance, about how you've been lying to all of us for years. I did what I had to do to keep this family together. No, James cut. And you did what you had to do to keep control. But that ends now. He pulled out his phone, showing her the screen. See these bank statements, the trust fund documents. Your lies are exposed. Mom, all of them. Barbara swayed slightly, her perfect mask cracking. You can't prove anything. Actually, we can. Helen appeared with Athic folder. I've been documenting your financial manipulation for years. The only reason I stayed quiet was for James's sake. But when you put his children at risk, all bets were off. What did you want? Barbara whispered, finally realizing the depth of her situation. Nothing, James replied. We want nothing from you. Not your money, not your big house, not your manipulative version of love. We're done. But they're my grandchildren. Not anymore. spoke up, stepping forward. You lost that privilege when you chose a party over their safety. Barbara turned to Ashley. Her last hope, darling. Please, goodbye, Mom. Ashley's voice shook but held firm. I'm staying with Helen until I find my own place away from you. James closed the door on Barbara's shocked face through the window. We watched her stumble back to her car, her world crumbling around her later. That night, as James and I checked on the children, one last time, Emma stirred. In her sleep, is Grandma still? Mad at us, she mumbled. No, sweetheart, James soothed, stroking her hair. Gra was not part of our lives anymore. But you have so many people who love you. Aunt Helen, Aunt Ashley, Mommy, and me. And Sergeant Trunks, Emma added sleepily, clutching her elephant, and Sergeant Trunks. James agreed, smiling through his tears as we closed their door. I leaned into my husband's embrace. Are you sure about cutting hair off completely? She made her choice, he said firmly. She chose her image over her family. Now she can live with the consequences, all right? Snow began to fall again, but inside Helen's house we were warm with the love of real family, the kind that protects each other, that chooses children, over parties, that stands together against the cold Barbara's perfect reputation. Lay in rulin', but our family had emerged stronger. Sometimes I reflected the worst storms bring the greatest clarity about what truly matters.